What's up guys, it's your host Spartanic Arts DxD back with another high school DxD related video. And today we have What If Issei Was Betrayed and Became a God, Part 2. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes, and if you guys want to know exactly when I upload my upload schedule, click the little blue button right next to the subscribe button. A special thank you to Robert Block, or Rob the King, for becoming a balance breaker in the channel membership. If you guys don't know what that is, that's the highest channel membership level. It's just an absolute thank you to Mr. Robert here, or Robert Block, Rob the King, for becoming a balance breaker. Seriously, thank you so much. Like, I really do appreciate it. So, if you guys want to know, if you guys want to do some Goku what ifs, or you guys want to hear some Goku what ifs, just go subscribe to my second channel down in the description below. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Chapter 4. Third POV at a palace above the sky. Angels are seen guarding the castle, which radiates a calm aura, but the look on the angels' faces say otherwise, one filled with sadness and anger. Suddenly, a bright light invades the area, and from it, 4 angels with a divine presence but a saddened expression walk into the castle. Angel 1. Are there any survivors? I'm afraid only one. To think that he made an attack on us, Angel 3 replied. It's not an attack, but a massacre, Angel 2 said. The third angel nods his head, and he looks down in fury. Brothers, what was the sole survivor's last words? Angel 1 says. He said, what attacked us was a monster under human skin. His grin was so unnerving that I felt like I was staring at the devil himself. I don't want to live after seeing that unholy sight. He is a twisted psychopath I fear will kill us all. With that, he died, Angel 2 said. The hunter of the Red Plains truly lives up to his name, Angel 3 says. That thing just destroyed the first heaven and killed about 1,000 of our brethren. And you speak without any hint of remorse, Angel 4 says. I am for sure saddened, sister. But he killed the exorcists and angels who were suspected were close to fall. He didn't kill them like a psychopath, but like an assassin, Angel 1 said. With Issei in the central street of Ko, it is currently dusk at the streets of Ko. We're busy as always, but deep in a dark alley a blue portal appears. Opens up, and from it Issei Mordred came out. It's dusk. I thought it would be afternoon, Issei said. Your hometown is beautiful, with huge restaurants and amusement parks. I love this place. Maybe we should go on a date, Mordred said. Mordred slightly smirked as she noticed Issei bustling. We can go on a date, Issei said. Great, darling. If you make it a date enjoyable, I might give you a little gift, Mordred said. An hour of a makeout session? Issei replied. Both Mordred and Issei smirked at each other before bumping fists. You got a deal, Mordred said. As Issei bumped and Mordred were chatting with each other, a gruff looks man bumped at Mordred by mistake. Mind apologizing, bitch? Hearing this, Mordred gets angry, but then freezes on her spot as she looks at Issei, who's having a sinister smile. Well, pal, I wouldn't do that if I were you, Issei said. Who the hell are you? Issei then places his hand on his neck, as the gruff man suddenly grabs a pen and stabs himself in the eye and falls down dead. What the hell? Issei said. Issei fakes a horrified face. As the other passerby, people get scared away while Mordred looks at Issei with an emotionless look. Why did you kill him? He was innocent, Mordred said. As Mordred whispers the last part, Issei flashes a sinister smile, grabbing her hand and taking her to the Empire Street. He was anything but innocent. He tried to touch my Mordred, and he addressed my Mordred as a bitch. Only I can touch my Mordred, and only I can curse at my Mordred. Issei then giggles like a psychopath as he looks at Mordred, who sighs. Whatever, just go back to normal, Mordred said. Issei then stops giggling as he smiles, holding Mordred's hand. I am always like this. You do know this, don't you? Issei said. It can't be helped, I guess, Mordred replied. Issei then snapped his fingers as the case full of cash and a key is seen on Issei's hand. Princess, go ahead to our new apartment. I have something to do, Issei said. Mordred said, sure, don't be late. Mordred proceeds to walk away from Issei, winking at Issei. I'm glad that I met you. Now back to work, Issei said. Issei then chuckles to himself as he teleports in front of a familiar house and rings the bell. Anybody home? Issei said. Suddenly, Mr. Hyodo opens the door with a confusional visit on his face. Have we met each other before? Mr. Hyodo said. Hyodo residence, Issei says. Yes, and you are? Mr. Hyodo replied. Can we have a nice conversation inside? Issei replied. Mr. Hyodo then opens the door with confusion. Come in. As Mr. Hyodo opens the hose, Issei follows him with a grin plastered on his face. Oh, that's not good, Dreg says. Time skip. Currently inside a luxurious apartment, we see Mordred and Issei on the couch having a talk and watching TV, but then a news is displayed on the TV. Double murder of couple at Co. Today, the officers have found out the 2 gruesome murders have taken place at the city. The victims, Mr. and Mrs. Hyodo, who are well respected, were found dead on their house just now, their internal organs in a jar and limbs cut off. With signs of torture as multiple fractures of bones and cuts are found in the bodies. Also, it's stated by the forensic surgeons that Mr. Hyodo had his manhood severed while he was alive. Issei then closes his eyes and presses a smile on his face, replacing it with a sullen look. Did you kill them? Mordred said. Nope. Although I don't care, Issei said. Mordred eyes at Issei cautiously and looks at Issei in his eyes for any signs of nervousness but finds none. All right, I believe you, Mordred said. Issei then smiles reassuringly as he then looks at the ceiling with a blank face. If only you knew, my dear. Flashback. Issei is seen seated on a couch and Mr. and Mrs. Hyodo sitting on the chair. I believe you want to know who I am and why am I here, Issei said. Yes, sir. I am sure I haven't met you, Mr. Hyodo said. Well, you could say I am a friend of Issei Hyodo. I'd like to talk to you about him. I'm sorry, but there is no one named Issei currently, Mrs. Hyodo says. Issei then chuckles, as then he uses magic to disguise himself as his old self, earning shocked looks from the couple. I believe you know me now, Dad, Issei says. Magic? No way, my son didn't know its existence, Mr. Hyodo said. Issei then lets out a maniacal laughter, as he then summons his boosted gear. I never guessed that you both are mages, but that doesn't matter. Your magic circuits have been deactivated by my magic, so you can't try anything foolish, Issei said. What are you gonna do, monster? Mrs. Hyodo said. A sinister smile makes its way towards Issei. He may look cute, but he's a psycho. Let's have some fun, Issei said. I'm gonna pretend this never happened, partner, Drake said. Flashback ends. A smile makes its way towards his face as he chuckles. The game begins. Let's see who will last long enough to find the killer. Watch out, Rias. I'll end your existence by your own family, I swear, Issei says to himself. Issei, I have been wanting to ask you, are we going to do this in the city? Mordred said. We are attacking Co Academy, princess, Issei said. Eh? Mordred asked. Ha! Drake replied. Rias' POV. This is problematic. A potential stray at loose was the only thought in my mind as I witnessed the horrible scene in front of me. Issei's parents dead. Rias, you should see this, Akeno says. Akeno, who is examining the corpses, looks at me with seriousness. What is it? Rias says. Just as I look at the corpses, I am met with a shocking discovery as my eyes widen. Those are Latin words, Rias said. It says, Necta partore nicisi est mori. It means, no way. Why would the stray leave a message unless, no, he's dead? It means brutal death to traitors. Traitors must die, Rias said. I could feel myself trembling at the words of the stray. I could tell the same for Akeno. Could it be? No, he would never do this. Also, he's dead, Rias thinks in her head. Let's just forget what we saw, Akeno says. Third POV, back with Issei. Issei is seen lying on his bed, as he is seen deep in thought. I wonder, did Rias find my message, and found its meaning? As Issei is thinking, Mordred creeps into the room while making a noise, lays next to Issei. Can I sleep next to you, Issei? Mordred asks the question as a huge blush can be seen on her face. Sure, Issei replies. As Issei turns his head towards Mordred, then he notices that she was on her nightwear, and she blushes seeing her cute face. Do I look good in this dress? Mordred asks. Of course you do, my knight. Issei then proceeds to cuddle with Mordred with a finger intertwined as Issei then blushes her soft breath against his skin. Good night, darling, Mordred said. Good night, love, Issei replies. Issei then kisses Mordred gently as he then inhales her sweet scent, burying his head at her neck. I'm the most lucky of man of all the universe, such a beauty befitting for a supreme being. In an isolated castle, a fallen angel with 10 wings could be seen on a throne with a mysterious glint in his eyes as he then looks at his ring. Don't don't you think the ring is just too much? I'm going to capture a small devil territory. Soon a scary voice is heard, echoing across the castle. It will help you if Sir Zex arrives before you kill them, but beware, mysterious person 2 says. If he rises his full capabilities, you won't stand a chance. I know that. That's why I have a pendant of Gia. I'll escape with it if necessary, random person says. Whatever, just don't reveal that I help you in this, random person 2 says. Sure. God of death, Hades. A terrifying skeleton covered in royal robes with an aura of death is seen from the shadows. Entertain me well, boy, Hades says. In an unknown landscape, scene break. Amidst the beautiful scenery, a dark voice is heard. And that's the end of Chapter 4. Chapter 5, third POV with Sona. In a mansion elegantly designed in medieval style, 2 women are seen seated having a conversation. They are Sona Sitri and Tsubaki, the queen of Sona. The murder of those Hyodos is a particular case. I strongly believe that the killer is not a stray, as a stray never leaves their victims' bodies, Sona says. Do you imply that a normal human could have killed them? Tsubaki replies. Sona looks at Tsubaki with amusement visible in her eyes. There is a possibility, but no normal human would leave a message in Latin, even if it is a serial killer. The words in their body says otherwise, Sona says. What do you mean? Tsubaki replies. The words on their bodies mean brutal death to all traitors. Traitors must die. Think carefully, Tsubaki. This is a crucial clue. You think the killer knows that they abandoned their son and tried to justify killing them? Tsubaki said. Sona then looks at Tsubaki straight in her eyes with a frown. That's the major possibility in this, but there is something I do suspect, Sona says. Do you think that Issei himself was alive and did this? Tsubaki says. Highly unlikely, as his pawn pieces were found broken. Lord Beelzebub himself stated that there's no way he's alive, although I believe the killings won't stop. I suggested improving the patrols across the city. Also, if anyone with a residual magic energy is found, quickly stalk them, and if needed, dispose of them, Sona says. Tsubaki stares at Sona shocked, but then he regains her composure. Sure, I'll tell the others to increase their patrols, Tsubaki said. Tsubaki, don't inform this to Rias or her Parage. Knowing Rias, she'll go after the killer in hopes of it being Issei. Just inform this to our Parage, Sona said. Got it, President, Tsubaki replied. Tsubaki then teleports away as Sona looks at the documents on her table with a strangely amused smile showing joy. Whomever you are, I appreciate you as you got me thinking for so long. I know that you're intelligent. Let's see who wins this game of chess, unknown killer. The next day, back with Issei. Issei is seen running across the street in his uniform with Mordred following him. I'm gonna be late, Issei said. No, we won't, Mordred replied. Issei and Mordred reached the school campus only to be met with a frowning Sona and static Tsubaki. I guess you both are the new students, Sona says. We are, Issei replied. Good. Following me, I'll take you to your class. Also, refrain yourselves from being late, Sona said. Sure, ma'am, Issei replied. Issei salutes with a fake smile as Mordred chuckles, but Sona rolls her eyes. This way, Sona says. Sona guides them to the classroom, which is 3C. This is your allotted classroom, and if you need any help, feel free to contact me. By the way, I'm Sona Sitri, Sona says. Both Sona and Tsubaki take their leave, as Mordred whispers softly to Issei. They're devils, Mordred said. I know, Issei replies. Issei and Mordred get inside the classroom to find the middle-aged woman and many students eyeing Mordred. Also, Rias and Akano are seen to be in the same class. Everyone, we are receiving 2 new transfer students. Please welcome them, the teacher says. Yo, I'm Issei Kotamine. I'm from Tokyo, and before you ask, I'm not related to Issei Hyodo, the missing students. Glad to meet you, Issei says. I'm sure that you're all shocked at Issei's last name. Just as Issei said his name, whispers are heard around the class, but Rias and Akano look at Issei with a look of disbelief and disappointment. Well, Mr. Kotamine, You can sit anywhere near Miss Grimmery, the teacher says. Rias raises her hands to show Issei where she is, and Issei then takes a seat next to her. I'm Mordred. I'm an orphan, Mordred says. Please take care of me. Every boy in the class yell praises, but none notices the dangerous glint in Issei's eyes except Mordred. Well, Miss Mordred, you can have a seat next to Miss Akano, the teacher says. Mordred then sits near Akano and flashes a smile hidden with malice. Time skip to the end of the school. Mordred and Issei are seen leaving the school campus. Mordred is seen to be in a bad mood. Hey, you look like you could destroy this city, Issei said. Stupid school. I aren't even a damn teen. I've seen 100 years old. I'm 700 years old, Mordred said. It's quite funny seeing you, of all people, ranting about this school, Drake said. Drake's got a point. You're the knight of treachery, and yet you act like a child, Issei said. What's that supposed to mean, Mordred replied. Issei then looks at Mordred, who is seen pouting, which he finds cute. You look so cute, I want to pat you, Issei said. I hate you, Mordred replied. No, you love me, Issei said. Issei then looks around at Mordred with a killer smile, causing Mordred to sigh. Whatever, Mordred said. If you remember, we need to tend to something important, Issei, Drake said. Yes. I do have an important job to be done, Issei says. You better come back before soon. We still want to beat the cocaine elf's ass, Mordred said. Sure. See you later, princess, Issei said. Mordred then teleports away while Issei then enables to suppress a sadistic smile while whispers something. Presence concealment. Just as these words escape Issei's lips, his clothing changes to that of thin silver armor with a red cape and bandage across his face, except his eye conceal his identity. Time to hunt the vampire devil. Issei then moves back onto the shadows before disappearing from the street. Time skip. Near the ORC building, Issei is seen stepping out of the tree's shadow, with his golden orb shining like a wicked force amidst the night. Time to kill some brats, Issei said. Issei then enters the ORC to find a hidden door protected with Rias' magical field. Boring, Issei says. Issei then proceeds to skillfully dodge the bounded field with ease. Gremory is really pathetic. At the bounded field deployment, this is a mediocre at best, Issei says. Issei then enters the room, only to find a coffin, making Issei's sweat drop. Did Rias make a coffin the vampire's hideout? Issei said. A loud yell is heard from the coffin as a blonde, cross-dressing boy with blood-red eyes jump out of the coffin scared. Who are you, mister? The vampire then stutters, intimidated by Issei's dressing. Gasper Valad, I presume, Issei says. Yes, Gasper replies. Issei then proceeds to throw a knife at Gasper's head, killing him instantly. You deserve to die a peaceful death, Issei says. Issei, this isn't like you, killing innocents. You are a good man, Issei, so why? Tell me why kill him, Drake said. He was innocent, but he already suffered a lot. I just saved him from his pain. Also, he's a part of Rias' prize, so I'll use this to strike fear into their hearts, Issei said. Just don't let Mordred find out about this. Answer me. Do you love Mordred with your heart? Drake said. Yes, I do, Issei replied. Time skip. Issei is seen entering his house with normal clothes. I'm home, Issei said. Suddenly, Mordred appears out of nowhere and hugs Issei. You're late, Mordred said. Yeah, I'm sorry, Issei says. Issei is seen scratching his head with a sheepish grin while Mordred looks at him with a glare. Go get freshened up. We are eliminating Kokabiel, Mordred said. I'm sleepy. That can wait. Don't you get it? We are killing Kokabiel, and that's final, Mordred said. Mordred then stomps Issei's feet, but Issei seems to be unfazed. Jeez, women are scary, Issei says. Issei then gets freshened up and lies on the couch to take a nap. Issei's POV, inside of Issei's dream. Hell, I saw here hell. Screams of agony and stench of blood fills land, as the land littered with corpses. Even my standards, this is cruel. This is really scary. I see a man stabbing a man with his sword above all the hill of corpses. I am able to hear human whisper, but I can't make it out what it says to me. And then the voice, the text, just blinks. Suddenly everything becomes blurry and my vision fades away. Third POV. Issei then wakes up, covered in sweat with a frightened face. Holy shit, that was crazy, Issei thought in his head. Time skip. At Issei's backyard, Issei is seen casting an advanced bounded field, while Mordred is seen stargazing at the sky. The stars are beautiful today. You should take a look, Mordred stops. It truly is. But look at the stars when something surpasses it is near me. Issei then winks at Mordred, causing her to blush. But I am just a failed knight, a failed king, an existence that shouldn't have existed. Even my father abandoned me at the end, Mordred replied. Mordred lets out a bitter chuckle as a lone tear escapes her eye. I think of you as a knight who'll do anything for the innocent people, a kind-hearted soul striving to lift his sword Calibrum. In my light, you saved me from my darkness, and countless times you've managed to make me smile. So Mordred Pentadragon, thank you for everything, Issei says. Issei proceeds to wipe her tears away, then blushes, noticing her glorify under the moonlight. Entranced, Issei then kisses Mordred gently for a second. Mordred says, what? Love you, Mordred says. As soon as those words escaped from her lips, Issei's heart skipped a beat as the unknown flashes of a toothy grin with one thought in his mind, must protect. Unknowingly, both of them entranced by each other, closer to another in centimeters apart from each other's millimeters, just as they both were about to kiss. Mind having your chit-chat after we wipe Kokabiel off the face of existence? Drake said. Startled by Drake, both of them move away with a huge blush on their face. Damn it, Drake! I'll one day have my revenge for this, Issei said. Mind telling me what this was about? That was a confidence booster, Mordred said. I'm all fired up, Issei says. Drake sighs as both Mordred and Issei chuckle. The white one, he's near us, Drake said. Both Mordred and Issei stiffen at Drake's word. Is he a he or a she able to sense us? Unlikely. We have our aura concealed, Drake said. Issei then lets out a maniacal laughter at his lips from a sadistic yet sinister smile, scaring Mordred and Drake. If my so-called rival is weak, I'll just break his collarbone like a twig. I know that you'll do that, Drake said. Time skip with Rias at Ko. The Ko Academy is seen to be just like my school. Would be on the outside, but currently a huge barrier is seen erected across the academy by Sona and her Parage, while on the inside Rias and her Parage, along with blueberry-haired girl, are seen fighting a Cerberus and a priest with multiple swords, while a fallen angel is seen flying with a grin unlike any other. Is that all you could do? You truly pathetic, Kokabiel says. Kokabiel then proceeds to create a huge light spear, throws it at the building, destroying it, leaving a crater. Kokabiel, in the name of our Lord, you shall pay for your sins. The blue-haired girl then tries to swing for a longsword, but Kokabiel punches her in the gut, making her fly past several trees. That sounds nice coming from someone who has no lord. What do you mean by that, you heretic? Ha! Your god died at the Great War along with the Devil Kings. It was us fallen angels who were destined to be the victor, but then Azazel declares that peace, and I was like, what the actual fuck? We were about to win a war. Everyone present, both devils and exorcists alike, look at Kokabiel with shock while Ozia faints. Impossible, Rias says. Nothing is impossible, my darling. No, why? Are you fucking kidding me? There's no way he's dead. On the contrary, Michael has been doing a job, maintain the heaven and sacred gear system from not failing to operate. I'll give credit to that, Kokabiel says. Kokabiel looks at everyone with a smug grin. Suddenly, the barrier above Kokabiel breaks. A red light is seen descending from the sky. You talk too much, cocaine elf. The red light disappears to reveal Issei and his balance breaker, with a ferocious aura around him, gaining shocked looks from everyone, mostly Rias and her Parage. The red dragon. This is bad, but if anything goes out of my plan, I'll just use the ring and pendant, Kokabiel says. Kokabiel whispers the last part to himself, and that is the end of the 5th chapter. Chapter 6. Third POV. Everyone present look at Issei and his balance breaker, with shock evident on their eyes, while Issei internally smirks, looking at Rias' expression. Issei? Rias says. Rias then looks at Issei with little hope just to be crushed. I am not Issei Hyodo, one of the past hosts. I am the new Red Dragon Emperor. The most powerful one, Issei says. Brat, come at me, Kokabiel replies. With pleasure, Issei says. A dark red beam hits Issei, interrupting him. At the source of the attack is revealed to be a pist of Rias. You bastard! You're the one who killed Issei for his sacred gear, aren't you? Rias said. Issei then gets really pissed at Rias' immature behavior and her attitude. Listen carefully, bitch. I did not kill him. He was weak and got betrayed and killed by some pest. And if you stand in my way, I will eliminate you. Issei's voice becomes more draconic at the end, scaring everyone but Kokabiel. I don't have a lot of time. Come at me, brat, Kokabiel says. Princess, all for the Excalibur fragments, but one here if you wish you can have a good spar, Issei says. Suddenly a huge gust of wind blows everyone as the gust subdues Mordred is seen standing with her armor and claret. Hey, shitty priest, show me what you've got, Mordred says. Freed then grins at Mordred and soon the grin erupts into a maniacal laughter. Oh, glad you kill you and chop you up into little pieces, Freed says. Freed then in an instant closes distance using Excalibur rapidly and delivers a horizon slash only to be blocked by Clarent, and Mordred continues with a kick to his abdomen, making him stumble. You're a fake, Mordred said. Freed then uses Excalibur, then Nightmare to create dozens of illusions trying to stab Mordred in her chest from different directions only to be stabbed in her guts. Illusions cannot trick me, you fool. I can sense your presence. I am talking to you. Down. My bad. I'm taking you down, Freed says. Freed then tries to decapitate her head with Excalibur Rapid, only to get his left arm severed clean. Ah, you motherfucking bitch, Freed says. Mordred then proceeds to decapitate him, and killing him instantly while everyone who proceeds to witness his brutality were shocked, especially Kiba and the blue-haired girl. That was interesting, Issei said. Indeed, Kokabiel replied. Mordred then picks up Excalibur fragments and hands them to the blue-haired girl. Tell the church to keep these fragments safe. I have no interest in a broken sword. Mordred then proceeds to lean on the tree, looking at Issei while others stare at her. What? I want to see how the red dragon kicks the elf's ass, Mordred said. Sure, let's get started. Issei then snaps his fingers, forcing teleporting Kokabiel, Mordred himself away. Where are they? Kiba said. With Issei. Issei and Kokabiel are still in a snowy valley, the moon shining bright crimson in color. Not bad, trapping me on a broken dimension. However, the Earthbreaker spell of mine will destroy Ko. My girlfriend took care of that, Issei said. I did, Mordred replied. Mordred is seen leaning on a tree without her armor, exposing her to the rays of moonlight. Divine retribution, Kokabiel says. Then the sky splits open and a huge golden beam of holy energy hits Issei, but he is seemed unfazed by the attack. Boost! Times 10, Drake says. Issei then closes the distance with Kokabiel in an instant, then proceeds to kick him in his face, but Kokabiel managed to dodge it, and then creates a sword out of light, tries to slash Issei, but breaks upon impact with his armor. Crimson Firestorm, Issei says. A huge firestorm engulfs Kokabiel as he lets out a huge scream due to the immense power of the attack. Boost! Drake says. Times 5. Issei then brutally kicks Kokabiel in his guts, giving him no chance to recover, then pummels him to the ground. I won't lose to you, Kokabiel says. Kokabiel then summons a chain scythe. He then swings it at Issei, but the scythe catches its chain and pulls Kokabiel towards him, and Kokabiel is then met with a sucker punch to the face. Kokabiel then falls to the ground with a broken teeth and bruised eye. Devil's Ring, help me, Kokabiel. Suddenly, an enormous amount of mana floods Kokabiel as the ring in Kokabiel's finger breaks, startling Issei and Mordred. The hell? Issei says. Issei turns around only to be met with a fist to his abdomen, cracking his balance breaker. What? Issei then looks above and gets stunned for a moment by a few appearance of Kokabiel, a silver armor with torn red cape radiating both demonic and holy energy. You nearly killed me. I've never felt this sensation since the Great War. Red Dragon, I acknowledge you as a worthy opposition, so I shall push past my limits. Satan Angel Drive. An enormous amount of aura is released, then Kokabiel, making the dimension itself shake while Issei looks up at him, surprised and astonishment. He is on par with a mid-Satan class beings with his armor. Let's have an honorable fight to the death, Kokabiel said. A sword then materializes on Kokabiel's hand, radiating huge amounts of divine aura. O sword of purification, let thy enemies crumble under the shine upon the heavens, and bestow death to thy enemies, for all shall be purified. Hectolate. The forgotten holy sword. How do you have it? Issei said. It was always with me. I got it after the Great War. I shall kill you here and start a new war for my enjoyment. Kill me if you can, Kokabiel, Issei replied. Kokabiel then appears behind Issei at unbelievable speed and slashes about 10 times the Hectolate on Issei's armor, cracking his armor, and Issei gets thrown into a boulder, breaking upon impact. Drake, can you repair the armor? On it, Drake says. The cracks on Issei's armor disappear in crimson light, but then suddenly a fist comes crashing to Issei's chest, shattering the armor and making Issei stumble, also making him realize, I can't defeat him with my balance breaker, Issei says. Boost! Domination Drake. A ferocious fire rushes towards Kokabiel. In an instant, Kokabiel manages to shield himself by using his arms and sword. Think. I can use Juggernaut Drive, but it will track the white one, Issei said. The flamen then subdues to reveal Kokabiel with minor burn marks in his armor. Boost! Times 4. That actually made me feel a bit hot, Kokabiel said. Issei then rushes towards Kokabiel, but then Kokabiel proceeds to appear behind him and slams him to the ground, making Issei cough blood. You'll have to use Juggernaut Drive if you wish to defeat me. Nah, I want to enjoy this fight, Issei said. Boost! Times 9. Transfer! Issei then appears above Kokabiel and then proceeds to deliver a solid punch to his abdomen, which sends Kokabiel flying into multiple boulders, breaking them, while also catching him by surprise due to the power of Issei's punch. That hurts! You transferred all the power from your boost to your punch, didn't you? You caught me by surprise, but... Kokabiel says. Kokabiel then appears behind Issei and stabs him in his abdomen. With his holy sword breaking his armor, Issei then moves back, trying to create distance. Issei, stop this and use the other forms or use your concept. You can't win against him with your balance breaker, Drake said. I'll use my other powers using my other forms or my concept will reveal my presence to the supernaturals. Issei then deactivates his balance breaker, allowing Kokabiel to find how he looked like. Don't tell me. That's all you've got, Welch Dragon. Suddenly, the air becomes colder, and the trees rustle, and the moon-crimson light falls upon Issei as a giant mana bursts out from Issei, throwing Kokabiel a couple hundred meters away, as mana accumulates around Issei till his shoulders. Kokabiel gets scared due to his intense mana. Unknown to Issei, whispers one of the most powerful words on the universe. Trace on, Issei says. A huge amount of mana accumulate on Issei's hands, taking the shape of a yellow spear, flowing with demonic energy. That spear, it's filled with pure demonic energy, Kokabiel said. Kokabiel then proceeds to fire about 30 light spears mixed in the demonic energy of Issei, skillfully blocks all the incoming spears. Kokabiel watches in awe, but by Issei's skill on the spear, while Mordred, from afar, looks at Issei with pride. Interesting, Kokabiel says. Kokabiel then rushes towards Issei with his sword, and aims to decapitate Issei, but then Issei holds the block attack and then uses the blunt end of the spear to hit him in his abdomen, making him stumble, and Kokabiel loses his stance. I shall taint my spear in your blood, Issei says. Mercilessness. Focus on breaking the opponent's stance while maintaining your stance. I see your skills are impressive, Kokabiel says. Learn from the best, Issei said. I see. Well, here I come, Kokabiel replied. Kokabiel then rushes towards Issei with a harpoon aimed at Issei's chest, but Issei paired all the blows with his spear. You're good, I envy you, Kokabiel said. Issei then finds an opening and stabs Kokabiel on his shoulders with the spear, making him bleed. Nice, but sadly, I can use my holy powers to regenerate a bit, Kokabiel said. Kokabiel then tries to close his wound using his holy spears, but finds himself unable to. The spear has a curse. This spear is Gimbundin, isn't it? The spear of the famous Dramid Undabin, also known as Darmud, of the love spot, a hero from the Celtic mythology. Indeed, this spear is known as the Golden Rose of Mortality. This spear can disable any kind of regeneration, works well for drawn-out battles, Issei said. Issei then charges towards him, with wielding a spear in one hand and tries to stab at Kokabiel hard, but then gets blocked by Kokabiel using Hirota. That was a mistake, Kokabiel says. Is it? Issei replies. Mana condenses around Issei's free hand into that of a long red-colored spear, and stabs it into Kokabiel's legs, breaking his armor into pieces, and Issei stabs Kokabiel in his lungs with only one other spear. I see. I lost. The battle was hard fought, Kokabiel said. Yes, it was, Issei replied. You lie. You had strength to demolish me. I can feel my blood filling my lungs. I ask you, kill me with Telectech. I beg. Grant me a warrior's death. Kokabiel said. That was fun. I shall not kill you. You may be a bit of a maniac, but you are really powerful with that armor. But the sword is hereafter mine. Issei then picks up her Telectech, and then makes his spear disappear, thus missing the curse on Kokabiel's body, allowing him to heal his fatal wound. Thank you, Kokabiel says. Kokabiel faints due to exhaustion on using the ring, making Issei sigh, while Mordred out of nowhere hugs Issei and proceeds to kiss him gently for a moment before parting away. That was awesome, Mordred said. Issei then equips his balance breaker, while Mordred re-equips her armor as they teleport away with Kokabiel. Back with Rias. Currently, Rias and her Parage are seen with looks of shock and confusion, rage and exhaustion, while Sona and her Parage are seen maintaining the barrier, unaware to what's happening inside. It's been an hour since that bastard took Kokabiel. He is sure our enemy. I will make him regret hurting Issei, Rias said. Yes, Ozzy replied. I don't care. The pervert's death was a good thing. He was the enemy of all women, although I like this new Red Dragon Emperor, Konako said. Rias then clicks her tongue, pissed at Konako's comments on Issei while Kiba looks at them with a sweat drop. The one who killed Freed was really good. Probably the best swordsman I have ever seen, but her sword is a bit off, Kiba said. A blue portal opens up from it. Issei and his balance breaker. Mordred and her armor come out with Rainted Kokabiel magically flying beside them. Here, a little gift, Issei said. Kokabiel then lands on the ground near Rias, while everyone on Rias' Parage looked perplexed. Hey, Crimson bitch, is your brother here? Mordred said. Whoever you are, you deserve to die 1,000 deaths, Rias said. Rias then charges her power of destruction to kill Kokabiel with a joyful expression, but then gets hit by a boulder, knocking her off. Sorry, but can't let that bitch kill him. After all, my darling here was the one who defeated him while you screamed for your life at the jaws of a Cerberus. So shut the fuck up, bitch, Mordred said. Well said, Issei replied. A huge thunder clashes onto Issei and Mordred from above while Akeno is seen blushing. Should have paid more attention to the surroundings, Akeno said. As thunder stops, both Issei and Mordred are seen unfazed by the attack, shocking Akeno and Rias. That was pathetic, Issei said. The barrier again breaks as an azure blue light enters, breaking the barrier. So you're here, White One, Issei says. The light subdues to reveal a white armored figure with arrosing azure blue wings. Overall, a more flashy version of Issei's balance breaker. Seems you have already took care of the fallen, Red One. How ironic, since I felt your presence disappear a year ago. None of your business, White One. You seem to be a strong one. Don't disappoint me, Issei said. Want to spar, Red One? I'll gladly accept an offer like this, replied the White Dragon. Suddenly, Albion speaks, slightly startled by the others except Mordred, Issei, and, It seems you're still persistent as ever, Red One. Maybe. I see that you're still the same, a grumpy old fool, Drake said. You're still arrogant as ever, Drake. My rival, Albion replied. Albion mutters the last word, with venom dripping from his word. It appears your current host is strong, Drake says. Indeed. Your host also seems to be strong. Actually, the strongest I have ever observed, Albion said. He is. Until the next time, Albion, Drake said. Whatever, Albion replied. Suddenly the White Dragon grabs Kokabiel and flies away. Next time we meet, let's have a good fight, my rival. Sure, Issei replied. The White Dragon then disappears from sight as Issei then sighs and then proceeds to teleport away with Mordred. See you all later, Issei replies. Alright, things just got way worse. I fear for my future, Kiba said. In a huge mountain, scene break. Huge boulders are seen everywhere. Around that appears to be an ancient shrine. Inside it, a gentle voice is heard. Respond to my wishes and come back from the underworld. The purgatory, a mysterious figure says. A purple-colored magic circle of various signs appear on the floor near a man who is seen chanting. A huge explosion occurs and suddenly the flames dissipate into thin air, and a lone laughter is heard for a second, terrifying, then comes out of the shadow before emerging again. And that is the end of Chapter 6. And that is where we're going to stop for now, right at the end of Chapter 6. Thank you guys so much for the support. We hit 27,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you enough for this amazing, this fan base is crazy. I never thought people would like High School DxD as much as I do, in a way of it's not just the boobs and the tits, plot, but also the other plot, or the concept. You know what I mean? The concept of fallen angels, devils, and angels battling with Greek mythology and Norse mythology. It's just cool as shit to me, and I took it to the next level with these stories and just reading with them. It's awesome to think about other people and sit here and enjoy reading my voice. And once again, thank you to Robert the King, for becoming a balance breaker, which is $24.99 a month, which is absolutely absurd. Thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough. If you guys want to know exactly when I upload / my upload schedule, click the little blue button right next to the subscribe button. Seriously, thank you for all your support. I cannot thank you enough. I am eventually going to make a membership tier where you can see all my members because they all deserve a shout out. But I decided to shout out Robert or Rob the King in specific because he has the highest tier in the membership tab. So once again, thank you so much. If you guys want to see what ifs on Goku or other animes in general, go subscribe to my second channel called Anpalpowski. I also will be posting maybe light novel reviews or some type of that deal with Fallen DxD. That's my third channel. And if you guys want to see like light novel reviews or just other what ifs on anime, like what if Naruto was betrayed? Yes, I know I keep hyping that up. It will be coming, I swear. And along with Issei, the God Slayer or God Killer is born. So thank you guys for all the support. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes once again. Without further ado, Spartanic Arts DxD out.